of military service and the cruelty of family separation during conflict. 13-year-old Omaira Sanchez is trapped in debris following the 1985 Nevado del Ruiz eruption. Her haunting gaze was captured shortly before she died, becoming a tragic symbol of the disaster. A young child dressed in KKK robes touches the riot shield of a black state trooper. The powerful image captures a moment of innocence meeting systemic hate and professional duty. Fingernail scratches mark the concrete walls inside an Auschwitz gas chamber. These harrowing traces serve as a terrifying testament to the desperation and suffering of victims during the Holocaust. A massive crowd fills the National Mall in Washington, D.C. on January 20, 2009. They gather to witness the historic inauguration of Barack Obama as the first African-American president. A man stands on a beach in Thailand, moments before being engulfed by the 2004 Boxing Day tsunami. The photograph captures the terrifying scale of the wave that claimed thousands of lives. Ironworkers casually eat lunch on a steel beam 840 feet above New York City in 1932. The iconic photo symbolizes the fearless spirit of workers building the Rockefeller Center. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. waves to the crowd at the Lincoln Memorial in 1963. He delivers his historic "I Have a Dream" speech, a defining moment in the civil rights movement. A desperate mother shows a photograph of her missing son to a returning prisoner of war in 1947. Her anxious expression captures the lingering uncertainty and grief faced by families after W2. A young Adolf Hitler is spotted celebrating the start of World War I in a crowd in Munich. Photographer Heinrich Hoffmann discovered the face of the future dictator years later in the glass negative. Young Warren Whitey Bernard runs to his father, Private Jack Bernard, as he marches off to war in 1940. The touching photo captures the emotional cost of military deployment on families. Jewish prisoners look out from a train car after being liberated by Allied forces in 1945. The image captures their relief and emaciated condition, marking the end of their Holocaust nightmare. The Exxon Valdez runs aground in 1989, spilling crude oil into Prince William Sound. The disaster devastated Alaskan wildlife, killing thousands of animals and affecting over 1,000 miles of coastline. Migrant mother Florence Thompson is pictured with her children during the Great Depression. Unemployed and destitute, she sold her car tires for food, becoming the face of American hardship in the 1930s. Hospital patients smile as they interact with animals in 1956. This early example of animal-assisted therapy highlights the long-recognized comfort and healing joy that pets bring to the sick. French icon Brigitte Bardot walks through Heathrow Airport in 1968. The candid shot captures the glamour and style of the actress at the height of her international fame and influence. A theater marquee displays 3 classic films playing simultaneously. The image evokes nostalgia for the cinema experience of the early 1990s, when blockbusters dominated the box office. President John F. Kennedy speaks with Wernher von Braun at the Marshall Space Flight Center in 1962. The meeting highlights the crucial collaboration that drove the American space program forward. Children bounce joyfully on worn-out mattresses in 1980s England. The image captures the resilience and creativity of youth finding fun in a bleak urban environment. Actress Linda Carter poses in the early 1970s. Taken before she landed her iconic role as Wonder Woman, the photo captures the beauty that would soon make her a global star. Photos show Mount Rushmore before and after the carving. The comparison highlights the massive transformation of the natural mountain face into the iconic presidential monument between the 1920s and today. A rare photo taken inside the North Tower's 45th floor on 9/11 shows the smoke-filled corridor. Captured minutes after the first plane hit, it documents the chaos before the collapse. Winston Churchill is carried from a nursing home in New York City in 1931. The British statesman was recovering after being struck by a car while crossing Fifth Avenue. Actors Alain and Nathalie Delon pose with their son Anthony in 1965. The family portrait captures the private life of the French cinema icons during the height of their fame. Elvis Presley met his future wife Priscilla when she was just 14. Despite the age gap, he pursued the relationship, eventually marrying her 7 years later at his Graceland estate. A lone man in a crowd refuses to perform the Nazi salute in 1936. Believed to be August Landmesser, his defiant act of nonconformity remains a powerful symbol of resistance. Elvis Presley poses with his father, Vernon. The singer shared an incredibly close bond with his parents, often taking them on tour and living with them throughout his rise to fame. Lineman J.D. Thompson performs mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on his colleague Randall Champion in 1967. Our champion had been electrocuted by a high-voltage line, and Thompson's quick action saved his life. Danny Trejo plays Johnny 23 in the film Con Air. Known for dying frequently on screen, his character meets a gruesome end, adding to the actor's legendary list of cinematic deaths. Potato farmer Cliff Young wins the Sydney to Melbourne Ultra Marathon in 1983. Wearing work boots and overalls, the 61-year-old shuffled to victory, beating professional athletes with his unique endurance style. A 4-year-old Prince Charles watches his mother's coronation in 1953. Seated in the royal box, the young heir witnesses the historic moment Queen Elizabeth II ascends to the throne. A 6-year-old Winston Churchill stands with his aunt, Lady Leslie, in 1880. The portrait captures the future Prime Minister as a young boy in Victorian-era clothing. Helen Slater poses in costume as Supergirl in 1984. Her portrayal of Superman's cousin became a cult favorite, defining the character for a generation of comic book fans. Photos compare the Curacanti Needle in Colorado in the 1880s and 2023. The images highlight the enduring stability of the geological formation despite the passage of over a century. Danny Trejo and Antonio Banderas pose on the set of Desperado in 1995. The photo captures the camaraderie between the actors during the filming of the Robert Rodriguez action classic. Supermodel Christy Brinkley and musician Billy Joel posed together in 1983. The celebrity power couple defined 80s pop culture romance, famously collaborating on the Uptown Girl music video. Hostess Ruth Lee flies a Chinese flag while sunbathing in Miami in 1941. Following Pearl Harbor, she displayed the flag to avoid being mistaken for Japanese during the anti-Asian sentiment. Race organizers attempt to stop Catherine Switzer from running the Boston Marathon in 1967. She evaded them to become the first woman to officially finish the race, challenging gender barriers. Freddie Mercury and Annie Lennox posed together in 1988. The photo unites two of the most distinctive and powerful voices in rock and pop music history. Dee Snider testifies against censorship before the U.S. Senate in 1985. The Twisted Sister frontman eloquently defended free speech against the PMRC's attempts to label and restrict music. A Soviet spy laughs moments before his execution in Finland in 1939. The chilling image captures his defiance and acceptance of death during the Winter War. A photo captures Las Vegas in 1895, long before the casinos. It shows a dusty, small desert settlement, contrasting sharply with the neon metropolis it would eventually become. A couple celebrates their wedding in the destroyed streets of Beirut in 1983. The image symbolizes hope and life continuing amidst the devastation of the Lebanese Civil War. Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali share a laugh in 1963. The photo captures the close friendship and ideological bond between the two icons during a pivotal time in history. Pop artist Andy Warhol poses for a portrait in New York in 1969. Photographed by Norman Seeff, the image captures the eccentric style and persona of the influential artist. Leola N. King, America's first female traffic cop, directs traffic in Washington, D.C. in 1918. Her presence on the street marked a significant step for women in law enforcement. One of the last known photos of the RMS Titanic shows the ship afloat in 1912. The image captures the massive liner departing on its doomed maiden voyage across the Atlantic. 6-year-old Carrie Fisher watches her mother, Debbie Reynolds, perform in Las Vegas in 1963. The photo captures the future Star Wars icon growing up in the spotlight of show business. Howard G. Rogers poses with 5,000 bottles of chemical compounds in 1963. The display represents the massive research effort required to invent Polaroid's instant color film technology. A model shows off a hairstyle by Philip Mason in 1955. Photographed by Richard Blinkoff, the image captures the elegance and specific beauty trends of mid-century fashion. Former President Herbert Hoover meets with Adolf Hitler in 1938. The controversial meeting occurred during Hoover's tour of Europe just a year before the outbreak of World War II. A young Ozzy Osbourne poses for a photo in 1974. Captured by Mick Rock, the image shows the Black Sabbath frontman during the height of his heavy metal fame. Elon Musk is quoted saying, "When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor." The quote reflects his ambitious approach to technology and business. Buzz Aldrin takes the first ever space selfie in 1966. During a Gemini 12 spacewalk, he photographed himself with the Earth in the background, pioneering a new angle of space photography. Austrian actress Maria Perschi poses for a photo. Known for her roles in international cinema from the 1950s to the 70s, she remains a recognizable face of European film history. Christopher Walken poses for a portrait in 1985. The intense gaze and unique charisma that defined his acting career are perfectly captured in this mid-80s photograph. French actress Michelle Mercier poses for a portrait. Best known for her role as Angelique, she was a major star of European cinema during the 1960s. Humphrey Bogart has rubber leeches applied to his chest in 1951. The behind-the-scenes photo from The African Queen reveals the movie magic used to simulate the film's perilous river journey. Big Daddy Don Garlits works on his rear-engine dragster in 1970. After a severe accident, he revolutionized the sport by moving the engine behind the driver for safety and performance. Diana Ross dances at Studio 54 in 1979. The image captures the joy and energy of the disco era, with the legendary singer enjoying the nightlife of New York City. A man cycles through London in 1931 with a greyhound on his shoulders and a puppy in his jacket. The charming photo highlights a unique and devoted way of transporting pets. A massive group photo from 1984 features members of Journey, Jefferson Starship, and Huey Lewis. The gathering celebrates the vibrant rock music scene of the San Francisco Bay Area. A young Chuck Norris poses in his U.S. Air Force uniform in 1958. Before his martial arts fame, he served in Korea, where he first began training in Tang Soo Do. The members of Led Zeppelin pose for a group photo in 1968. The image captures the legendary rock band at the very beginning of their career, shortly after forming. Child laborers pose for a photo in the early 20th century. Covered in dirt and grime, the image serves as a stark reminder of the harsh conditions children faced before labor laws. Churchill, Roosevelt, and Stalin sit together at the Yalta Conference in 1945. The Big Three Allied leaders met to discuss the post-war reorganization of Germany and Europe. A milkman delivers bottles over a pile of rubble in London in 1940. The image symbolizes British resilience and the continuation of daily life despite the destruction of the Blitz. A young French girl beams with pure joy while playing with her cat in 1959. This heartwarming, candid photograph captures the simple, timeless happiness of childhood companionship with a pet. U.S. Marines raised the American flag atop Mount Suribachi in 1945. Joe Rosenthal's Pulitzer Prize-winning photo became the defining symbol of American courage and sacrifice in the Pacific War. Bobby Gibb runs the Boston Marathon in 1966. Without an official bib, she became the first woman to complete the course, challenging the rule that women were not physically capable of the distance. Photographer Charles Ebbets is pictured in 1932. He is the brave man behind the lens of the famous lunch atop a skyscraper photo, risking his life to capture the iconic shot. Detective Jim Leavell, known for being handcuffed to Lee Harvey Oswald, poses in his uniform. He was also a Pearl Harbor survivor, serving on the USS Whitney during the 1941 attack. President Calvin Coolidge served from 1923 to 1929. Known for his fiscal restraint and limited government philosophy, he presided over the economic prosperity of the Roaring Twenties. French soldier Georges Roy, who lost his eyes and arms in WWI, marries Marguerite Lavenu in 1917. She offered to marry him after hearing of his injuries, a moving act of devotion. Novelist Cormac McCarthy lived in poverty during his early career. Despite critical acclaim, he refused lucrative speaking offers, preferring to live simply and let his